Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you from my car. Apologies, totally unprofessional, I know, looks rubbish, but if I didn't do it in here, I wasn't going to be able to do a video today, and I really wanted to do a video today because we've got so much to talk about after last night's game, but unfortunately I'm on very strict dad duties this morning. I've got my son in there at the moment doing his drum lesson, and when he's finished I've got to get him home, pick up my daughter as well, then take them both to their swimming lesson. And I'm just going to run out of time. So I'm not going to be able to get a video done. So I had to use this half hour while he's having his drum lesson in there to quickly go over yesterday and talk about that dramatic, wonderful, crazy, chaotic, whatever you want to describe it as, match at the Emirates last night. Arsenal winning 3-2 against Bournemouth. Obviously, I did the video at the time on the whistle, doing my player ratings and going over my sort of thoughts on the game. So I won't completely repeat myself on that, but there's quite a bit to talk about still because Mikel Arteta has obviously spoken about it after the game, so I've got some stuff to talk about. I've got Gabriel Jesus update to give you as well, which is really, really good news actually on Gabriel Jesus. Very promising, something I saw after the game last night after I'd done my video with speaking to you guys actually. But we'll talk about the match first. I've got to go over it a little bit again. There's been so much to enjoy about it since the game, the drama of it all. I mean, honestly, I must have watched the goal and the highlights about, 10 times already this morning with the volume turned up. The noise when Reece Nelson's shot goes in, it's just something I don't think you just can't get bored of hearing and seeing and watching those scenes at the end. It's what football's all about. It's why we love football. And I said it yesterday, I honestly think that's the biggest moment the Emirates has ever had. Not in terms of what it means, because obviously it only means 3 points really, and it doesn't, Arsenal haven't won the title or anything like that, but in terms of actual emotion, celebration, noise, passion, everything, nothing beats that for me. I was there. I've not missed many games at the Emirates since 2006 when it opened. I was there for Arshavin, I was there for Welbeck, I was there for Henry's return against Leeds, I was there for Henry's last minute header against Man United in the first season in 2006. All amazing moments that I'll always put up there in the conversation when it comes to the greatest Emirates moment. But nothing beats the celebrations yesterday. I've never seen anything like that at the Emirates before. I've never heard anything like that before at the Emirates. There was so much joy, so much passion, so much just the release of energy. I mean, it was incredible. The fact that it's such a brilliant moment when Mikel Arteta is celebrating down the touchline, and then suddenly this random 5-year-old kid is there, and Arteta high fives him. And then he realised, hold on, why am I high-fiving a random 5-year-old kid? What's he doing here? Who is he? Where's he come from? And you see him suddenly turn around and start looking around. He spoke about it in his press conference afterwards. He said, I was just running, and suddenly this kid was there. I had to find security. And it just kind of summed it up, the craziness, the chaos of it all, that somehow this 5-year-old boy had ended up on the pitch celebrating with Mikel Arteta. It was so crazy. And it was just one of those moments in football that you won't forget. It's why we're all there for football, and it's why we love football. Arsenal fell behind 10 seconds into that game, and they didn't go in front until 10 seconds before the end of that game. I mean, that's just so crazy. It's so mad. I mean, they were basically behind for the entire match, or not winning for the entire match, and then they win it in the last second in that fashion. I mean, what's not to love about that? Apart from if you're a Bournemouth fan, obviously. Apart from if you're Neto, obviously. Goalkeeper whose time-wasting antics came back to haunt him in the worst possible way for him, but in the funniest and best possible way for Arsenal. And it's just brilliant scenes. Brilliant scenes. You could feel the emotion on social media, going home, reading everyone's comments, going through this string. Go and find Dan Critchlow's string on Twitter, putting together all the best celebrations from how people, Arsenal fans, reacted around the world to that goal. It's just brilliant to watch. It's impossible not to smile when you're watching it. It's just fantastic. Like I said, it's what football's all about. I think that's what made yesterday's moment just so special and so memorable, certainly for me anyway. And if you were lucky enough to be inside the ground yesterday, I'm sure you'll feel exactly the same way as me about it, because it was really, really special. Mikel was asked yesterday, Sam Dean, the first question in the press conference, Sam Dean from the Telegraph was there, and he said to him, first question, do you believe in fate, Mikel? He said, I do, yes. Why? It was an extraordinary day, a beautiful experience, very dramatic, but worth living it because it was a great end. I thought those were really good comments. A beautiful experience, extraordinary day. It just sums it up. It really, really was. And when he says it was worth living it, worth living the drama and the pain because of how it ended, he's right, because what this result could do. Arsenal were not very good yesterday. They dominated the game. They deserved to win, no doubt about it. They were the dominant side. Their stats were incredible. It was like 30 shots to 4, 85% possession. It was so one-sided. They scored from their 17th corner. But they still weren't great. They were open. Defensively, they were poor. Bournemouth, when they did go forward, they looked dangerous. The first goal was such a calamitous goal. You should never be conceded a goal like that if you're a professional football club, let alone top of the Premier League. So there was lots not to like. And Mikel will sit them down at London Colney on Monday morning tomorrow, and will no doubt be going through all of this on the video, and once the sort of emotions die down of it all. But to sort of go through that and then to win it the way you do, what that will do for belief, momentum, confidence. I wrote a piece this morning. I was saying just the added extra layer of connection that those celebrations and that feeling on the final whistle will bring in terms of the team and the supporters could just be so huge in terms of the rest of the season and what's to come, because there's going to be massive games to come. There's going to be massive difficult moments to come. And Arsenal will be able to draw on this. They've come back and won last minute against Manchester United this year. They've come back and won last minute against Aston Villa this year. They've come back and won against Bournemouth in the last minute this year. All of those things, it all just gets stored up here. It's all muscle memory. When you can do it, when you've done it before, you can do it again. And that just adds to the belief and adds to the momentum. I think that's what's so important. When Mikel says there it was worth living it because of the great end, I think that's what he means by that. And in terms of the character of the players, he says the team and individuals showed a different level of willingness to win, determination and initiative today. When the game gets ugly, there's a moment that you can lose momentum. You can start to hide and start to navigate through the game. The players didn't do that. They wanted the game. They wanted the ball every time. They took risks. They took initiative, and they kept going until we broke them down. It was great to see that from the team, and it was. I think what we've all learned from this team this season is that they never give up. They never stop trying. They keep going. They keep pushing forward. Keep trying to find a way to win. And that ultimately worked for them yesterday when it really looked like it wasn't going to. You thought all your hopes had really gone. I have to admit, when Zinchenko had that shot that deflected wide that led to the corner that goal came from, I thought the referee was probably going to blow his whistle then. And I thought that was it. And, it was just an amazing moment for Reece Nelson. Mikel spoke about it afterwards, said how much he deserved it and, how difficult a time it's been for Nelson. And he's just given him and his coaching staff another reason there to think about him. And, he came, what a unbelievable cameo from Reece Nelson, coming off the bench 2-1 down, setting up the equaliser, scoring the winner. In the season you've had, after the injury setback you've just had, you've been out since December, to come and do that. It's the biggest moment of his career, 100%, no doubt about that. And you could see what it meant to him afterwards. It was just, it was a really special moment for a Hale End boy as well, which kind of makes it even more special. I spoke to Mikel in the press conference afterwards, and I asked him, I was like, have you been here a long time as a player, as a manager, have you ever heard or felt the stadium like that before? And he said, probably it's the loudest, emotional moment we have all lived together. The journey we have been on together, how the supporters and the team are together, added to that moment we had today. It was really special. And it was, honestly, it was really special. It was, as I said at the beginning, it was what you watch. It's what you watch football for. It's what you go through the pain of football for, all the disappointing moments, all the painful moments. To have those sort of last minute victories, no matter who they're against, when they come, they're just so much fun. They're just so much fun. There's a brilliant picture. If you haven't seen it yet, go and have a look at it. I tweeted it yesterday on it was Stuart McFarlane, the club photographer. I tweeted it out last night, so go and find it. You can see it on my Twitter. It's just an amazing picture of the immediate aftermath of the goal going in. And honestly, the more you look at it, the more you see. It's from like a bird's eye view up the top. And the more you look, the more you see. You can see Zinchenko on the floor on the far side. You can see Gabriel collapsed on the floor. You can see Reece Nelson, the calmest of everyone, celebrating. You can see Jorginho running on the pitch. Saliba running towards the corner flag to take it out. Gabriel Martinelli's in the net picking up the ball for some reason. Ben White celebrating in front of Neto's face. There's just so much. You just keep looking at it. It's like that Henry picture in front of the Spurs fans where you just, no matter how many times you look at it, you spot a new Spurs fan every single time. And this is like that. It's a fantastic picture. Go and have a look. It just sums up the moment, the chaos of that exact moment that the ball hits the net. Mikel was asked again actually in this. He said, "What was it like? What was your heart rate like? What was it moment like when you scored?" He said, "It's crazy. You lose sight of where you are. I started to run and I didn't really know what I was running to. Just looking at the faces of everybody, the staff, the players, our supporters, and those smiles and the joy in their eyes. It's just great to live." And the video, I can't wait for bench cam if Arsenal do put bench cam up this week. But the videos of that celebration down the touchline of Arteta just completely losing it, the coaching staff completely losing it, the players completely losing it. You know, look, the celebration police will be out again. So, oh, Arsenal celebrating like they won the league. It's not celebrating like they won the league. It's just celebrating like you've got a last-minute winner when you've come back from 2 goals down to stay in the front of the title race. You come back from 2 goals down to win 3-2 with a last-minute goal. If you can't celebrate that, if you can't go absolutely mental at that, then what is the point in football? Seriously, what is the point in football? It's just, there is no point. That is the exact moment you are allowed to lose your nut and just go absolutely crazy, and they absolutely had the right to celebrate the way they did. Yeah, just fantastic scenes. So Gabriel Jesus, this is good news. Yesterday, amid all the chaos, I actually forgot to mention it, but after I was doing a video to you, or while I was doing a video to you guys, I could see the substitutes had come out and they started doing their warm down on the pitch, which they always do after the match at the Emirates. Even the ones who'd come on, like Reece Nelson was there and stuff. It's just basically a worn down, stretch your muscles out, and then they go through quite an intensive, small-sided match. So like 5-a-side, it's got the proper size goals, but it's about sort of 5-a-side pitch. Sometimes it's like half or a quarter of the pitch of the Emirates. And Gabriel Jesus was there and he was taking part, which was a great sign. If you see after the game, he's on the touchline celebrating with all the players as they come off, and he's in his training gear. He's with Elneny, but Elneny's obviously in his usual clothes, but Jesus is in his training gear, and he went out and he took part in that training session with the subs, and he did the match. You know, it was quite intensive, and he was part of it, and you know, it's a really big step again in terms of his recovery to see him doing that, and the twisting, the turning, you know, taking part in the match. It was, you know, it's not huge tackles going in or anything like that, but it's still a really big indication that he must be very, very close now to coming back to full training and joining in full training. It'll be interesting to see. Arsenal got open training session on Wednesday before they fly out to the Europa League game in Sporting Lisbon. The media are allowed down there for 15 minutes or so just to do a bit of videos and that sort of stuff. You never really see much, but you do get to see his training. It'll be really interesting to see if Gabriel Jesus is part of that, or what sort of part of it he plays, if he goes off by himself or if he joins in fully with the squad. But it's a really good sign yesterday. I thought it was really and a really good indicator that he must be now very, very close to joining in full training. If he's able to do that and get out and play with that sort of intensity in a match, albeit a small-sided match, you know, that's a really positive sign. And you know, whether he goes to Lisbon this week, I doubt it, but you know, he must be very, very close now. And that's great because we know Eddie Nketiah didn't play yesterday. We're still not sure the full extent of his ankle injury. And Leandro Trossard obviously went off in the first half yesterday, which was a concern. It was the moment that Ramsdale made that amazing save when Bournemouth broke from the corner. And Trossard was the last man, and he was chasing Solanke back as he sort of, it might have been Billing, I can't remember, whoever it was. He was chasing him back and trying to cut it off. And you see just at the end of that, when the ball gets played to the guy who has a shot that Ramsdale saves it, you see Trossard kind of pull up a little bit, and he feels the top of his groin, and he went down, and then he went off straight away. And I asked Mikel about it. I said, you know, how big a worry is that? And he said it is a worry. He came to me straight away and he told me he could not continue because he'd felt something when he was tracking back after the corner. We have to assess him and see how he is. So, you know, they'll be assessing him today, tomorrow. If he needs a scan, he'll be going for a scan. Fingers crossed it's nothing bad. Hopefully it's just a precaution. I mean, he walked off okay, but you never know with a muscle injury. Sometimes you can walk off fine, but you still got this problem that you're not be able to use it for 2 or 3 weeks. So fingers crossed it's all right. It is just a precaution, and he will be back sooner rather than later, because we don't know what's going on with Eddie yet. Gabriel Jesus obviously is very, very close, but the last thing you really want with Jesus is to bring him back and for him to be the only first choice striker, because you kind of really need to ease Gabriel Jesus back into it. You don't want to put too much into him too soon. So to have Trossard and Nketiah out at the same time that Jesus comes back really will not be ideal. So whilst there's very good news on Jesus, it's definitely a little bit more concerning on Trossard, and fingers crossed Arsenal get sort of positive news on that in the next couple of days. Okay, that's it from me and my car. I'm going to have to go now because I'm going to have to run in and get my son because his drum lesson is going to finish in a minute. So yeah, apologies for doing it from this very unprofessional setting and a very plain looking fence out my window here. And I think the camera's probably slanted on a slight angle as well, so you probably get feeling a bit seasick watching this. But look, it was either this or don't do a video. And I really wanted to do a video because, as you can tell, I'm a very happy man. I'm walking around representing today, in case there's any Spurs fans or anyone else walking past, just to make their day feel a little bit worse, because that's what you do, don't you? What a perfect Sunday morning it is. Have a very good end to your weekend, everyone, wherever you're watching this around the world, and I'll speak to you soon.